Hey, welcome to Checkpoint AFK on B-Pod Studios, the place to be for podcast discovery. This is CheckpointXP's lifestyle show. From cosplay to consoles, we cover everything you care about when you're away from your keyboard. My name's Nate Bender. So glad to have you with us today. Again, we are practicing social distancing and safe podcasting, and everyone today joining me over Discord. So joining me is Callie Sloan, Norris Howard, Robbie Landis, and Chad Callahan. Thank you guys for joining me and, of course, for continuing to stay safe and healthy.
Nate, I am all about practice safe podcasting. That is amazing.
Listen, other shows may be cavalier and say, hey, we can get our hosts into the same studio, but not us. We are deciding to be safe and podcast from home. And we encourage everyone else out there to do the same as well. So welcome into Checkpoint AFK. Today on Checkpoint AFK, we're going to talk about how you're staving off boredom in your quarantine hut, as well as Las Vegas has officially allowed esports betting. They better, because there's literally no
nothing else
other.
to build on.
Yeah, there's no
You can't
other
even
sports.
go there.
That's actually a remarkably good point. Like, who's going to Vegas right now to bet on anything? But anyway, that's what we're going to talk about here today on Checkpoint AFK. But before we get to that, I want to remind you guys that we are having a really cool bracket contest over at our website, CheckpointXP.com. We're trying to figure out the best game of all time. Head on over to CheckpointXP.com and find our video game bracket challenge to vote. We're in the final stage of our bracket, and our finalists are Mario Kart 64 up against Super Smash Bros. Melee. Vote now through March 30th. There's only a couple of days left, and you will be registered to win a Respawn gaming chair, not just for you, but for a friend as well. The deadline to vote is coming up. Again, it's March 30th. We're recording this on the 27th, so you've only got a couple of days. Head on over to our website, checkpointxp.com, and vote for who you think should win Mario Kart 64 or Super Smash Bros. Melee. What do you guys think?
I don't know, but I gotta say, like, don't come for us. This was all you people. All right, y'all voted. We didn't do this. We didn't do any of this. I know.
Melee just refuses to die, guys. That's
It won.
It
It won in our 2019 thing too, didn't it? Or I can't remember.
It's a trash final two. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Savage.
You all have bad opinions. I'm putting that out there.
I would have thought at least one game, like one of the two games in the finals, would have been from like my top tier list of all-time video games, but these two are not in that.
No,
I thought Skyrim was taking it personally.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought Skyrim
saw
was.
Skyrim do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the widespread popularity enough to go all the way, but no. Instead, we get Mario Kart 64 and Melee.
You know what this is?
The opposite of the Palpatine "I love democracy" meme.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. And what happened is, we know that we're located here in Southeast Michigan. We got a lot of homies around here, and we know how Smash is with Southeast Michigan. So that explains Smash. Mario Kart, I have no idea.
I think that's nostalgia at its finest, because I will say some of my fondest memories as a kid was playing Mario Kart 64.
It's not just the
memories is fighting people over Mario Kart.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's just the
Nostalgia.
nostalgia. I also think it's the fact that both of these games, I would say, are pretty accessible. These are like the games that everyone's played at least once. So even those who aren't gamers that are voting, oh yeah, Mario 64, play that all the time with my siblings, blah 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 type deal. The casual gamers, man, they're getting us.
I think another part of it is that this contest got put over on all of the classic rock stations.
That's a good point.
That could be it.
A lot of Mario Kart
gamers,
fans in there.
Yep. Filthy casuals.
I will say
Yeah.
Philadelphia is a major hit, so probably all of Philly must be full of casual gamers.
Chad, what disgusting
Interesting.
drink were you just brought?
Kiefer brought
Hi,
me
Kiefer.
something I wanted to.
Say hi.
Everyone says hi, Kiefer. He says hi. But I've been brought I wanted to try this. Nate, you'll appreciate this. It's a
Oh, God.
monster mule.
Mule? What?
It's a
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
It's
Like
a
a
ginger
Moscow
brew.
Mule?
Wait,
Yeah,
no.
ginger brew.
Mule flavored monster is
Donkey
not
flavored, yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
I this is literally my first time trying it, so I asked Kiefer to bring it to me.
You can't be bougie and drink monsters.
It's
like-
it's a ginger
Brew.
monster. Ugh.
Ooh, it smells like a legitimately
As
smells
he
like...
starts to barf, he's like, oh,
No, I like
it's
mules.
so good. Oh.
It's terrible.
Okay, you want to know? It tastes like ginger beer, but like super toned down, pretty much. Just like a toned down ginger beer. It's not as spicy.
So why not just drink ginger beer?
Yeah,
Because it doesn't have all the taurine and all the bullshit stuff that they put in here. All right.
When you first
Okay.
said when you first said a monster mule, I literally thought it was gonna be a monster spite with an 8-ball of cocaine.
That's next AFK.
I see what you did there. I have to say, it's because we're not going into
I
this
like it.
into the station. I'm 2 weeks without a monster.
Wow. Well,
I
I'll bring
know.
you one. I'll bring you one, Nate. When the first
God, don't
first
do
week
that.
we're back.
Nate,
Don't
wait,
do
You know
that.
what it is, Nate? You know what it is, Nate? Because when you get tired, you can just lay down.
That's true.
How do you get your tea fix though?
What?
How do you get them Arnie
What?
Palmies?
he just drinks tea. He doesn't
I
drink Monster.
drink Arnold Palmer. I just
Okay.
don't buy Monster.
Every
store is
single
still
time.
open.
No. Every single time that I came over there when we were recording, could you pick me up 2 teas? Could you pick me up 2 teas? Could you
Right.
pick me up 2
That's
teas?
not Monster.
So, well, you're self-isolating. So do you either have enough or are you actually going out to get your tea?
Oh, I'm definitely going. I'm
He's-
venturing
oh.
out to get tea.
I
Got
thought
it.
you're stocked up because I remember going to.
See, that's what I was wondering too. Did you just have enough stocked up somewhere?
I remember when we were in San Diego, we had to go 7-Eleven to 7-Eleven with me,
Yeah.
Norris, and Nate trying to find that Arizona iced tea. They only had the small ones.
It's a necessity.
I
It's a
want
necessity.
to, Nate. I
He
want to
was
see
trying to
you with a
find the-
keg in your living room of Arizona Arnold
Let me tell
Palmer.
you,
Chilled.
Let me tell you, this guy, we already know that Nate's default sort of, emotion is like irritation, right? At the very least, mild irritation, if not anger.
For sure.
And we went into the CVS to get this Arizona tea. And the fact that they didn't have gallons, dude got so close to just going off. He was so disappointed.
He
and
was
that
a little upset.
And that disappointment turned into anger. And then he was just like, I'm going back. I'm getting the cans and I'm going back up to my room. And I'm just like, dang, bro. He was so upset they had them gallons, man.
This is the healthiest Nate's kidneys and liver have been in a decade.
I wouldn't say that at all.
It's
I
much
would
like
say
how
that.
Italy's rivers have cleared up. It's like Nate's liver has cleared up. Oh, also, May Small in the chat is bringing up the rain jalapeno strawberry flavor and liked it.
Oh, no.
Not okay.
I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it like you guys did.
No,
I didn't think
that
it was
shit
great.
was gross.
That was disgusting.
Gross.
That shit tasted like spicy toenails.
I don't know
To be
why
honest-
that made my feet curl.
I don't know why that was strangely accurate, even though I've never tasted spicy toenails.
I
But-
couldn't just imagine. That's about it.
You know,
Maybe that's what it is.
because it tastes a little bit like feet
Yeah.
and
Spicy feet. Okay.
yeah, spicy
Yeah,
feet
I
with
can see that.
a side of fungus.
How do y'all know what feet taste like? Get them toes out of your mouth.
Robbie, not everybody is just doing the whole vanilla thing like you, man. Expand your horizon.
I mean, this is the same guy that just thought that there were 1-800 numbers to find bears and stuff like that and gimps. Sorry, I forgot it was gimps.
It was Big Daddies. Thank you.
Big
very
daddies.
Much.
That's essentially these are bears. Learn your lingo, Robbie.
Boy.
This got real weird real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Callie and I have not trained you well enough. Clearly.
Oh man.
Yeah, thank for that.
We cannot
Anyway.
talk about Robbie's training on air. That's gonna be that's inappropriate.
So,
we gotta-
anyway,
do we have a review or anything? I don't know.
We will get to the review in just a second, but I also wanted to share information about the Shutdown Showdown.
Yes. All right. So basically, if any of you are interested or avid Apex Legends players, there is something called the Shutdown Showdown, which is, I believe it's, I don't want to bite myself in the foot, but I think it's like five.
Yep.
The 5-week tournament.
It's a 5-week tournament. Yep. Three players to a team. It costs $30 to enter for the team, so $10 a head. And all proceeds are going to charity.
40% of the proceeds.
Okay.
40%.
It's changed since I talked to him. Fair enough.
Well, 40% of the proceeds are going to the charity No Kid Hungry, while 60% is obviously for operations and making it run and stuff like that. Well, so I want to make sure that y'all know that that's happening. They wanted to be very clear and transparent.
Right, but usually when you say proceeds, they assume the profits.
Above like the profit, shit you make.
Okay, that's fine then. Well, the money that they make is going to the charity No Kid Hungry, which helps kids in America who are struggling with hunger, and especially right now when kids are home from school, can't get their meals at school. That's a big issue right now. So it's an awesome cause and definitely something you should support. I know I want to play, even though I'm terrible at Apex Legends, but I'm happy to donate my $10 to the cause to get my butt kicked. It's a 5 weeks of competition starting on Tuesday, and that's the 31st, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, Tuesday the 31st. So make sure you check that out.
And remember, the whole thing is like to stay home and compete. Like that's the whole message. Just stay home and compete.
Stay at the crib.
You could win awesome prizes. $30 per team. So that means like $10 per person. So just get your friends, get them to Venmo you some cash and like just sign up right now. It is ugcevents.gg/shutdown showdown.
There you go. Make sure you check it out.
Some Venmo stock, damn it.
Register and come play some Apex Legends. It really is a great event and a really great cause. You can find out more information over at our website, CheckpointXP.com. All right, now it's finally time for Apple Podcast reviews.
Yes.
Of which there are none. Sorry.
Bull crap. Y'all are sitting at home doing nothing else. Review the damn show.
I lied. There are 2.
Asshole.
Still.
Trolled.
There are 2, so you guys are going to have to pick one either from Odoric.
Odoric, yeah.
Odoric. All right.
Yep.
Long time listener.
Yep. Long time listener. Or from Kid Squidly.
All right,
definitely from Kid.
Yeah, Kid Squidly.
I'm all about Kid Squidly.
Sorry, Odoric.
All right. Well, Kid Squidly says, thanks for keeping me sane. That's the title of his review. It is a 5-star review.
Because what else would it be?
Kid Squidly goes on to say, I just want to personally thank you guys for keeping my job fun. I listen to you guys while at work just to make the day better. I discovered you guys on 101 ESPN St. Louis. That's what's up.
Shout out.
And I've actually went back on both AFK and The Daily Show, and I've listened to just about 2 years worth of your material.
Wow.
You guys are the best.
Dude.
You guys are the best, and keep doing what you do. Don't mean to pick favorites, but Norris, you my dog.
Oh,
great.
You already know how it is, baby.
And Norris's ego grew 3 times that day.
Kid Squidly, thank you so much for the review and for overinflating Norris's ego. We always appreciate it. Let us know what you think of the show, good or bad. Leave us an Apple Podcast review. We'll read it here on the show. And, just one other thing that I want to mention, we are coming out with new shows and new products, and we want to invite you guys to sample all of them. If you happen to be a regular listener to Checkpoint AFK, I happen to think that there's probably you're gonna find some value in a show like All of Esports. You're gonna find some value in a show like The Other Identity or The Owl's Nest. Even if you're not terribly up on Overwatch League, or maybe you don't even play Overwatch, I definitely think that there's something for you in a show like Owl's Nest. So I want to invite all of you guys to subscribe to all of our various podcasts. They are available on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and let us know what you think by leaving us a little review here on Checkpoint AFK.
And if you're in college, watch on campus. If you're not in college, watch on campus.
That's right. Honestly, there's something for everyone in every show. We are putting a lot of work into everything that we're producing, and hopefully you guys are liking it, but we don't know unless you tell us. So make sure you give us feedback, whether it's through an Apple Podcast review or whether you just want to email the show. You can find out all of the different ways to contact us over at our website, CheckpointXP.com.
We have very fragile egos. We need your praise.
Yeah.
We don't.
Oh,
we do.
Maybe not you.
At least.
Yeah, I would not. I would describe my ego in a lot of ways. Fragile is not one of them.
Big, huge, massive, gigantic, overwhelming.
Those are all great adjectives, Robbie.
Abrasive.
That's another good one. Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right, coming up today on Checkpoint AFK, how are you staving off boredom in this COVID-19 world? Have you gotten bored of all four wars? Four
wars.
Have you gotten bored of all four? Wow, why can't I say four walls of your house? Are you starting to get snippy with your pets? We want to hear all about it. Let us know in the chat room. We'll be back here on Checkpoint AFK.
All right, I gotta grab it.
I fight until it hurts.
This is a Gamer's Outreach Cart, or Go-Kart for short. It's a portable video game kiosk built specifically for hospitals. Created and assembled by Gamers Outreach, each unit helps provide recreation to kids and young adults unable to leave their bedsides. The carts can be disinfected easily and have 360 degrees of movement, making them ideal for transport in hospitals. Go-Karts can accommodate a variety of gaming consoles. They also come with wired controllers, a gaming monitor, and are equipped with a lift mechanism that allows the height to be adjusted. Go-Karts provide a safe, flexible, and efficient way to ensure patients have access to entertainment during long-term hospitalization. To learn more about Project Go-Kart, visit gamersoutreach.org.
Welcome back to Checkpoint AFK on BPod Studios, the place to be for podcast discovery. It's Checkpoint XP's show that talks about everything kind of adjacent to gaming, all of these different topics where if it doesn't fit with the theme of all of esports or Checkpoint XP on campus or any of our other various shows, we talk about it here. So I thought it might be nice to kind of talk about the different ways that we're all coping with boredom. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've had to personally cope with during this whole COVID-19 shutdown. But before I kind of share what I've been doing, how have you guys been staving off boredom? What effects have you noticed from isolation on you or the people around you? How are you guys coping?
I think
I'm gonna be on. Oh, go ahead, Callie.
I'm struggling way more than I thought I would. I thought,
really?
Yeah. I mean, a lifelong gamer, someone who for the last year, my day has basically been wake up, go to work, come home, lay on couch, avoid contact with anyone else, and then go to sleep. Like, I thought this was gonna be easy. And I'm only now starting to realize how valuable to your mental health it is to get out of the house, even if it's to go to work. Like now that I'm just at home all the time, I thought I would cruise through June no problem, and I am not doing well. I
do miss my morning drive now that I think about it.
Ugh.
Why?
I always thought it was kind of relaxing. It was just my time to like listen, to the radio and just kind of get there. I mean, my morning drive is probably easier than most people's in the world because like I didn't go through rush hour and I kind of went at my own pace. And I got my coffee in the morning. I had my set schedule and I did it, and it felt nice. I missed that. I kind of missed that.
I'll say this: I do miss being able to just stop at Starbucks. Like that's the one thing I miss probably more than anything.
Yeah,
but
I gave up caffeine last fall, and I
don't know why you did that.
Outside of an occasional chai latte, I don't have caffeine anymore. But now that I'm in the house all the time, I don't even have that. So I'm fully off caffeine.
Yeah. No,
for me, one good thing.
For me, as a true extrovert, I thought I would be really, really struggling. Especially considering you guys know me. When I'm in the office, I'm very like gregarious and floating around and talking to folks and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I'm actually having a fucking blast, man. Like I moved last weekend, so that it pretty
that'll
much
play
has been
that'll play a role.
It played a role. So my past week has been pretty busy with like unpacking and stuff like that. But in terms of just like chilling out and playing games and watching stuff on Netflix, like I have a backlog of a ton of stuff to watch on Netflix, so I'm cool on that. And there's a couple games coming out that as soon as they hit, I'm gonna put massive amounts of hours into that. Been playing a lot more Overwatch, and I don't know. I'm not. Neither myself nor my girlfriend, I think, are we at the point where we're like bored. And I'm also reading more. Like if you can't, like, this is like probably 1/16 of the books I have, so I got a ton of more books that I'll be reading. So I don't know. I'm not to that point yet. Nowhere near.
See, it's not the boredom that I'm worried about. I think the fact that you did have something to do this weekend, because obviously moving isn't fun. So, I don't want to conflate the idea with, well, you had something to do, blah, 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 blah. But I think even just the fact of getting out of your room or out of your home, even just for a few minutes, Chad kind of mentioned that, he looks at his commute to work as like some alone sort of time. And even if you don't like the commute, it's still time away from people. It's time getting out of your normal situation. Rick has been in self-quarantine for the past, I think, almost like 10 or 12 days. Like he doesn't leave, period. And when you get
with
to
an
that
8-year-old.
point, exactly. But when you get to that point where time's just sort of blurring together for you, me and Katie, we both consider ourselves introverts for sure. And I've been having a fine time with it as well. I don't really have to worry about going out someplace. And as much as she hates people and dealing with people at work, I would have thought that working from home is also something that she would have latched onto a lot better. But she still gets the same emails that she yells and swears and hollers about 5 feet from my head. And so now you're at home and still dealing with the same stress from work, and there's no way to escape it or get away from it. So even things like, going out, we have like these giant man-made sort of lakes and ponds behind our place that people have been walking around, and just doing something as simple as that can honestly go a long way to breaking up some of the monotony. Stuff like having a schedule or some sort of routine, I think is going to be key here, not just to not stay, to not be bored, but to stay sane.
See, now
you're
here's
absolutely
one of the,
right though, because we've been taking walks too at the park near our place, and it does help a lot.
So here's one of the things that I think is different between me and all of you guys is that all of you guys have a significant other that you're cohabitating with.
Yep.
I have my cat. Like I thought I was under the impression I was going to get way more lonely than I have been, and
I'll say on that.
I'm totally unfazed by
the loneliness,
the
idea
last
of
2
loneliness.
weeks. Yeah, like I thought at some point it would start to eat at me. Like, I need somebody to talk to, but like I don't know. Like,
I don't.
I really I kind of don't. Like, I'm not feeling the itch to be social. I'm not feeling the drive to be social, and I mean I think that that's good. I don't know how long it'll continue staying like that, but do you think that there's a difference between being truly alone and kind of coping with that and having to cope with all of this stuff while cohabitating with someone?
Well, I think they each have their own unique stresses, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you're absolutely right. While you are alone and you have to like deal with some loneliness, you also don't have to deal with maybe the annoying habits of someone else. Like, there's like, everything that's going on in your place is fully in your control. But when you have to cohabitate, you get the benefit of having someone to talk to or hang out with, and also the goods and the bads. And you don't any longer have that 8-hour period during the day where you're at work and separate from each other. So I think there's definitely pros and cons. I'll tell you what, the other day, it was like almost 60 degrees here. And I just decided to take like a half hour to get in the car and drive around in the subdivision, listening to the radio with the windows down. That was like the healthiest 30 minutes of my week.
See, and that's the thing, is that, like, I was in a 10-year-long relationship. We had lived together for about 4 of those 10 years. And, like, as I think back on it, for as much as I cared for that woman, I would not want to be in this situation with her. Like, even at, like, when things were good, like, even when our relationship was,
even when they were good, it was bad.
Like, I feel like I would have been much more challenged having to put up with her idiosyncrasies and her, projecting fear and whatever she would be doing at the moment.
No, being holed up with the right person is incredibly important.
I think that there's probably some wisdom to that.
I think there's a mixture of two. There's two things to do. Like, one, obviously being with the right person, but the second one is finding a way. And I know sometimes it's a struggle. I mean, I'm only in a 2-bedroom apartment, but luckily, I didn't even see Keith all day Saturday. We were in the same house. I stayed in here,
and that's healthy.
He stayed in the computer or the living room, so it was nice.
I would say that that's healthy. See, the thing,
legit.
The thing that I'm thinking about is like how she would react when I would want time on my own, and how it would be like a big fight every time I would want to do something and not include her or just try to do it on my own. It was this big, weird, like, codependent thing.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the part. It's not spending time with her or the intense close quarters that would have bothered me. It's that suddenly my behavior would have been under a microscope, and then I'm trying to think around her and what she's thinking, and it just becomes a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, no, we're totally not like that. So with this move, we gained a extra bedroom, and that bedroom is being used sort of as the office. And like, my girl goes into her office and she's working, like, she's like 9 to 5 basically. I mean, it's not those exact hours, but like, she's in there.
That's Katie too. When she sits down at the computer, nothing else exists until she decides she's done,
quote unquote done. Yeah, exactly. And so that's her mode. I don't fuck with that mode. I don't go in there talking about, like,
that's
come
me
out when she needs to.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of the same way. When I get focused on something, kind of like, leave me alone.
Me too. Yeah.
But I think, again, that goes to being with the right person. But Flynn in the chat says something that is really important that I think we all need to sort of take into consideration, is that it's very different from being inside when you want to be inside, and then being forced to stay inside because some crazy shit is happening outside.
Well, to what Callie just said, right? She's like, look, I just needed to get out for a half an hour. Any other day when you're not in a situation like that, you want to go see a movie tonight, you want to go out to dinner tonight, you can't do none of that.
Right. Well, we had a pretty busy day yesterday, and it was like maybe 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take 10 minutes and walk around my backyard and just figure out like what needs to be done to the backyard to get it ready for the year. And it's like, it's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it, but that 10 minutes outside, just thinking about something else that doesn't involve a computer screen in any way.
You are such an adult.
I love it.
Callie was in the backyard looking like that Pablo Escobar meme.
Where he's just standing there staring at the fence.
You know what? You're out there living your best king of the hill life.
Did you standing there in a dried up pool, like?
Well, I'll say that Nicole Basio, which you've seen and heard on here, AFK. She just texted saying, "This makes me miss you guys. Loving the relationship talk." She just messaged me on Teams. So
we miss Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole.
I miss everyone at the office.
We should have her on an episode. She should just be on one.
I don't really miss Weirdbeard.
Yeah,
man.
I miss our political discussions.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like I don't want it to sound like I don't miss anybody, but it's not to the point of like freaking out. It's not to the point of like I feel like I need to do something right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
nah, me
it's
neither.
it's just like it would be nice. It would be nice to see people today.
The only people I really miss obviously are like my mom and my siblings.
Yeah.
Like even my friends, like our lives are so busy that even catching up with them is just difficult anyway. So this is kind of not really that bizarre to not see my friends for 2-3 weeks. But like not seeing my brother for 2-3 weeks or not seeing my mom for 2-3 weeks is fucking weird.
Dude, it's that saying, go away so I can miss you. There's gonna be a lot of people at the end of this where I'm finally ready to see you again. Like,
yeah, that's true.
How many Corona babies do you think there's gonna be?
I was literally thinking
more than a few.
December, January.
That's the next generation. That's the next generational name, the Corona babies.
But they're all gonna.
Well, it's gotta be.
They're all gonna be older siblings. No one with kids is having another one right now.
That's true.
That's fair.
That's fair.
This is how millennials end up having kids.
No, I don't think so. Millennials right now are busy being mistaken for Gen Z. They're pissed. They're not having kids right now. Absolutely not.
That's the way to distinguish yourself from Gen Z. Gen Z isn't responsibly replicating at the moment.
No.
They're just being irresponsible.
Listen, but there's something to that. There's a reason why that conflation always happens. Is because millennials don't have kids. And this is something that I was realizing that I was learning from my girlfriend when she was working at an office, is that they would mistake her for like 21 all the time. She's like 28. Like they're completely different phase of life. It's because millennials don't have kids, bro. If millennials had kids, every other generation would view them as adults, quote unquote, because like that's the next phase. But since we don't, everybody thinks we're Gen Z and down at spring break like it's 99 and we're trying to watch Carson Daly. Nobody does that shit anymore. Like nobody does that. Nobody our age does that.
I like Master Capelli in the chat. The year 2033, the rise of the quarantines.
I was about to read that. That's so funny. So true.
That's pretty clever.
That's pretty good.
I'm curious to see how if there really is, like, I guess in some form a baby boom, like maybe not to the point that it was in the 50s, but like maybe at least a year, it might be.
Maybe.
Be interesting to see. I'd be really interested to see that.
Absolutely. I think there was going to be a ton of kids born around Christmas time.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
A lot.
That would make sense.
I mean, it would be interesting, but like, could you imagine that? Like, just imagine that somebody's like, "Oh man, mom, how was I born? How'd you meet dad?" Well, we were locked in the house for 3 months, and basically we had nothing to do but to bust it down.
I wasn't allowed to go shopping for condoms, so.
And I was too cheap to get it delivered.
Yeah, what was I gonna do? Not have sex? No.
Exactly.
That sounds great.
Amazon drone to fly it to your house.
Yeah,
that would cost. It costs $4 to do that, by the way.
Okay, all right. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this because I'm sure she can hear me out there telling this story. Okay, but like grocery delivery services will also bring you guys condoms. Are you guys like embarrassed to just order damn condoms from Instacart?
No.
Because Katie's like, no, we have to go get them ourselves, and I'm like, why? Because I don't want them to know. Know what? You have sex? So the one time that I did it, some little old lady brought them, and she's like, she knows now. She knows. And I'm like, you're never going to meet her again in your entire life.
I mean, you say that, but she's going to meet her like on the bus or at some point. She's like, oh, this is awkward.
No one's
next to her on a flight.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what she's going to say, oh, yeah, I brought condoms to your house that one time. I'll be like, yeah, lady, I was trying to get it in. What are you saying?
You should have given her a knowing wink as you took the
Yes.
But that's the thing. It was in with a bunch of other groceries, so it's just fucking groceries. Get over
I'd have took the paper bag and turned around like,
Wink.
Take just the one. Be like, leave the rest of the door. I ain't got time for this shit.
It ends up being like she ends up being like the bellhop in The Simpsons, where he's like like making all these fucking noises.
Oh,
Jesus.
boy.
That was my favorite part about hormones. I don't have to worry about that shit anymore. This is great.
There you go.
Hell
See?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's great. I don't have to worry about getting a vasectomy. None of that garbage. Hell yeah.
Nice.
There it is.
I mean, I've kind of not had to worry
the
about that, so.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
if
leave it to you, Chad.
something went horrifically wrong if it happens in your case, Chad.
Oh God, I could only imagine if like
Which one of you would be the pregnant one?
Did you just ask him who's the top?
That's essentially what you asked. You do realize that,
You
right?
just asked who's pitching and who's receiving.
You literally just asked. This is I will
Sorry.
I will answer that off camera. How about that? Where's the gimp suit? Omega Welltel is asking.
I'll admit this. I was 99% sure that Chad was receiving until I met Kiefer, and now I have no idea. So it could go either way. My gaydar is good, but it is failing me on that one.
I've been confusing people since birth, so let me just
I
say
am
that much.
so sorry.
Now, I've had long discussion back when, my early radio career, I used to do promo, and I was quizzed and drilled, drilled's a bad word. But
No,
quizzed
it's the right word.
it's the right word, by my coworkers, asking all the questions because they didn't know very many gay people. So I was asked every personal question under the sun about it. So I am basically immune to it. I don't feel like it's probably a good idea to put on AFK.
Probably not.
Not to put on the air. God, I can't believe I did that. I pride myself on being tactful. And here I am
I
just
understand
asking
where you're
stupid
coming
questions.
from, though. I understand where
Yeah.
you're coming from. Nicole said she just spit on her computer after that comment, Norris.
I think you owe Nicole a new computer, I think.
Yeah.
Those are the rules.
Yeah. I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
Anyway,
No, but-
I guess we gotta talk about gambling too.
Oh, yeah.
Do we, Norris?
I mean, I was just going to share, most of what I've been doing has been playing games that I've already beaten and watching YouTube videos that I've already seen.
Can I say, I think a lot of people are doing that. I think the first 2 weeks of quarantine has definitely been revisiting the greatest hits as opposed to, checking out anything new.
See, I'm waiting.
I'll say this: I haven't touched my Switch at all.
Really?
At all. I haven't.
You know whose fault that is? Katie for not giving you Fire Emblem. Now would be the perfect time to play it.
Yeah, get her back. Is she working still? Get her in here. She still needs to speak to Norris about that.
Yeah, she is out working. I've actually been getting more done than I think I ever have before. I've been playing through Animal Crossing. I've beat 1.5 Metro games. I've watched a bunch of TV shows. I've made my way through 2 or 3 different comic books. I'm really getting work done.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What did
We're
you
all
think
proud
of
you, Robbie.
You said 1.5 metros, so that means
Yes.
that you finished Metro 2033?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
For being a game from 2010, there's actually not a lot about it that I didn't like.
What did you play it on? Did you play it on? Because I know you already own it on PC, but did you play it on Switch?
No, I played it on PC. Yeah,
Okay.
because then I'd have my Animal Crossing in front of me, so during loading screens, I'd play some of Animal Crossing. So I was super multitasking here, man. But I'm really enjoying it. It's not actually, a lot of people are like, oh, it's basically Fallout in Russia. As far as game mechanics go, it's not. It's post-apocalyptic, so I guess that makes it Fallout, but I'm really enjoying it otherwise.
Yeah, wait a minute. Fallout in Russia is Stalker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, it's Fallout without the VATS, really. It's like a much more, pure FPS
shooter
version
experience.
of Fallout.
Yeah, the post-apocalyptic is the only thing that makes it Fallout. There's no skill tree, there's no inventory, there's nothing like that.
But that thing that he wears on his wrist that with the compass and everything, that's basically like a lo-fi version of a Pip-Boy.
All it does one thing in the first one, and that's let you know how much until your filter has to be replaced. And then in the second one, it lets you know if you're stealthed or not. It's a watch,
Awesome.
Nate. It's not a Pip-Boy. It's a watch.
No, it's basically a lo-fi Pip-Boy. It was their version of like trying to pay homage to a Pip-Boy. Pretty sure that the developers have even said that.
Well, it was a bad homage.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But yeah, no, like I seem to be going back and watching things that I've already seen a lot. Like I've been watching movies that I've already seen. Like I watched The Birdcage last week and
that movie.
Forgot how great of a movie that is. God, Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are the best.
Great duo.
Yes, so good. What else did I watch? I watched a couple of Hitchcock movies.
Ooh, nice.
Which ones?
Rear Window and Rope.
Oh,
I've not seen either of those.
Oh, they're both good.
Surprisingly.
Rear Window?
No, weirdly enough.
Rear Window is perfect for right now. Like, watch Rear Window.
Not the Johnny Depp version. Oh,
No,
sorry, that's
not-
Secret Window.
I was about to say that's a different movie.
Well, wait a minute. They didn't.
They
Is
did
that like
remake
a
Rear
take on
Window
it?
though, didn't they?
Someone remade Rear Window, but it went by another name.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp was in it.
No, it was who's the Terminator guy? The Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Shia LaBeouf was in it.
interesting.
I'm sorry. Did you just describe Shia LaBeouf as the Terminator guy?
I'm sorry, I did. I meant Transformers.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what?
I don't think it
Apparently-
was John Connor. That doesn't sound
Apparently
right.
there's a Rear Window in 1998 with Christopher Reeve.
Okay. Well, there was a That 70s Show parody episode of it. That was
Didn't
pretty
get
decent.
Didn't get good ratings though, so
That makes me feel bad.
I think it was Disturbia was the
Disturbia.
that was influenced
That's
by
what it
Rear
was.
Window.
well, when I looked it up now, like a few down, it says Disturbia did not steal Rear Window plot judge rules. So apparently they didn't outright use that.
Well, it was enough to make
It was
a
enough to
court
go to
case.
court.
So
Yeah.
that's close enough for me. But yeah, no. Rope is another really good one, which has a lot of similarities to Arsenic and Old Lace, which is like a black comedy version of almost the same story.
Loved Arsenic and Old Lace.
I was in a production of Arsenic and Old Lace. When
Really?
when I was like 13.
Did you watch the Cary Grant version?
Yes, I did.
I love that one. That's a good one.
It is a good one. It's a very good one. But yeah, no, I like it's weird. I've watched way more old stuff than I have new stuff. Most of the new things I've been watching have been wrestling and how hilariously awful it's been.
You know
Yo,
what?
Did you see the Jericho promoing with a drone?
I watched that live. That was hilarious.
You see
That was
Jericho
hilarious.
trying to take the heat for COVID-19 and saying he doesn't want to wrestle in front of people anyway. Oh my god.
He was making the call not to let people into the arena. That was pretty funny.
It is peak
then-
Chris Jericho.
Well, here's the best part about him cutting the promo on the drone is that the next day he cut a promo on his Roomba and posted it to Twitter. That was hysterical.
I love it.
What, he was riding the Roomba? Like, wow. I don't understand. What do you mean? He did it on his Roomba? I don't understand.
No. So when you cut a promo on someone, you're usually like yelling at them.
It's who you're talking to.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got what
Yeah,
you're
you're talking shit, right?
I see what you're
So he did the same thing to the drone or to the Roomba that he did to the drone.
Okay, makes sense. I got what you're saying now.
Okay, just making sure. Anyway, coming up on Checkpoint AFK, Vegas has officially allowed esports betting. What does that mean for the esports world? If anything, we're going to talk about that next here on Checkpoint AFK.
I fight until it hurts.
This is a gamer's outreach cart, or go-kart for short. It's a portable video game kiosk built specifically for hospitals. Created and assembled by Gamers Outreach, each unit helps provide recreation to kids and young adults unable to leave their bedsides. The carts can be disinfected easily and have 360 degrees of movement, making them ideal for transport in hospitals. Go-karts can accommodate a variety of gaming consoles. They also come with wired controllers, a gaming monitor, and are equipped with a lift mechanism that allows the height to be adjusted. Go-karts provide a safe, flexible, and efficient way to ensure patients have access to entertainment during long-term hospitalization. To learn more about Project Go-Kart, visit gamersoutreach.org.
Hey, welcome back to Checkpoint AFK on BPod Studios, the place to be for podcast discovery. Again, I want to remind everyone the Shutdown Showdown information available over at our website, checkpointxp.com. Stay home, play Apex, and help fight COVID-19. Again, details over at our website, checkpointxp.com. So Vegas, now that they have no sports to have to deal with, has finally decided that they will start allowing esports bettings at their casinos.
Yeah.
Never mind that what is the status of Las Vegas? Like, have they gone on to like active lockdown yet, or are they still letting people in?
I'm not sure,
the
but like,
casinos?
the only thing I've seen from our Vegas stations that was actually like interesting to me, which was kind of funny about the lockdown, is they've been doing virtual strip joints. It was a literally thing. I read the article. I was thoroughly amused, but hey, you know what? To each their own. I thought that was clever. But I don't know. I have no idea how they're handling things right now.
I mean, last I heard, the casinos were all closed.
The casinos were shut.
Yeah. I just looked it up. They shut everything down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
All right. But they have decided to allow esports betting. I'm not exactly sure what type, like how this is taking form.
Here, I got you.
Okay.
So basically, the Nevada Gaming Commission has approved esports betting for the ESL Pro League. So basically, CS:GO, their main competitive league. You can now take bets in the sports books. But
you can't go to the sports books.
Right. So, I mean, for what that means, I'm sure there are books that are open somewhere in Vegas, probably not in any of the major casinos. It'll probably have to be like an off-site kind of, sports book. And I believe in Vegas now they have the app too, where you can do some sports gambling on an app, which is terrifying in concept to me. But
yeah, it is. It's horrifying. And I believe right now you could bet on the over/under per match.
Yep.
The winner of the match and the winner overall of the entire season.
Of the season.
Yep. Those are the three things you could bet on right now.
All right, here we go. We got Kookie in the chat saying, Vegas resident here. Casinos were shut down for 30 days starting March 16th. You can also sports bet on the app. MGM Bet is brand new, and they have been pushing that. So, yes, we have the online betting available now, which is a horrific concept to me. And here's my thing, right? This clearly got pushed through the Nevada Gaming Commission super quick because there are no traditional sports and there's a lot of money being lost. You will never convince me that if COVID-19 didn't happen, this is legal today. No way.
No,
it might have been. It might have been, but it might have been longer process. It might not have been legal right now, but I think it would have been, definitely a longer process.
Well, that's
I definitely think
it part of his statement.
Well, I guess, but
like it definitely would have happened.
Sure.
It just they would have dragged their feet, no doubt.
Right. There's too much money to be made for it to never happen, but it's going to be a year from now or 2 years from now.
Well, not only would they would have dragged their feet on it, it would have been, the same lip service of, oh, we don't know where there's demand. We don't have the experts. Yeah, because that's a big thing for me. Like, I don't know a lot about sports betting or anything like that, but I know that your book has to be made by people who know what they're talking about. Yeah. Like, your book still has to be made by people who know the sport. And so I'm not sure what the stuff you could bet on lets me know that it's very basic, simple stuff. So the book is not necessarily made by people who are CS:GO experts. Because, I mean, a kills over under, a winner and a season winner, that's that's basic stuff.
The most difficult thing that they have to be able to do is place odds on who's going to win. You have to set, you know, you might be able to bet on Team Liquid over Evil Geniuses, but are you betting at plus 140? Are you betting at minus 120? Like, you have to have someone who can understand how good the teams are well enough to be able to like lay those proper odds. I'm assuming they've either invested heavily in someone who can do that, which, I mean, it's Vegas. I would assume that is the route that they're going. They can pay experts to make odds properly, or they're probably borrowing them offline right now because there's already esports betting apps of varying degrees of legality online.
Let me ask you, Callie, how much do you envy the person that has to come up with odds for the current LCS?
0. No, for any esport. I think if there's anything,
especially this year,
if there's anything that we've learned over the last how many years of doing this show now, it's that trying to predict esports is a fool's errand. Like, why would you ever, like, there are two truths in esports. Korea's probably really good and China's probably better than you are. Those are like the two truths that I would stick to most often. But how would you know? Like, if you wanted to actually, like, it's not like in football, right? Where more often than not, you can get a reliable odds placed on based on how good two teams are. It's so up in the air in esports because players become like fall in and out of meta so quickly. They fall in and out of being really good so quickly. Trying to stay on top of that odds book has to be a nightmare. I would never want that job.
So I sort of feel like there's a couple of different calculuses that are going on here that, you know, sports books are looking for any kind of competition to be able to place odds on so that they can get bets.
Yes.
But I think that the other calculus that's going on here from the esports angle is, okay, how does esports come in and you know, serve this community, or do they?
Right.
And to me, like, I don't know that this works in just moving the needle for getting people to place bets on matches.
See,
right?
Because
I don't see all but the most dedicated sports gamblers even taking a sniff at this.
So yeah, that's a big thing.
I think they would take a powder or just hold on to their money for a little bit until sports that they understood came back. I
want to put it in this context though, is that I think a place that you could see it be really effective is in the FGC. And if the FGC ever made it to the sports book, I think it could have massive impact. Because
I think that's way so there's two things there. I think that that's way more translatable to a sports book in sort of like a one-to-one fashion. And we already see that there's a culture around it that, you know, like at the matches, people are doing, you know,
they do side bets.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't see that in other esports areas. So
I'm not
hang on. So either the calculus of bringing esports fans under the umbrella of esports betting and getting them to put their money where their mouth is, or getting sports fans to invest in esports enough to be able to make bets that make sense for them. I don't know that that's working on either end of that spectrum.
Well, hold on. There's just something I want to interject really quick because, look, I'm not big on the whole gambling thing either. I'm not real savvy myself, which is one of the reasons that obviously I stay away from it. But to the idea that you don't know if sports people or even the most savvy bettors would get into it, you know, this is also coming from the same world to where you can put bets on whether or not Idris Elba is going to be the next James Bond. So there are people that one way or another will bet on this because it's something else to bet on now.
And that's why I caveated that by saying that you're only going to get, like, you're really only going after gambling addicts. Like that's someone who is gambling not based on their sports knowledge, but out of a need to gamble on something. anything.
But not just that though. But not just that though. I think if you took sort of the energy behind sports betting, because part of why the sports entertainment apparatus is so big is because of sports betting. And so if you have esports, and we already see that there's a lot of organizations putting money into esports, hoping to get it big enough to the point to where people will want to bet on it, because that's a whole, undercurrent, under economy, if you will, when it comes to sports, is that I think I'm not necessarily saying this is a great thing, because I personally am not a gambler, but I think the whole of esports is very much so hoping that esports betting becomes a thing, because from that, then you will have people that want to get the information so
That's
they can
fair.
make the bets. So when you have an apparatus that's set up for it, this is very new. And I understand what you're saying, Nate, that only the hardcore will try it at first. And I agree with that. But the more you're able to talk about it, and the more somebody's able to cut their radio on or cut their TV on or something and see like, oh, that damn Team Liquid is beating everybody. You know what? I may have an opportunity to bet against them and win some money. Like, that is all you need. In the moment that you have people do that on a fairly regular or semi-regular basis, this whole thing just starts to prove the concept. So I think there's an opportunity there, and I think there's an opportunity for it to begin to permeate across the rest of the country, because right now sports is so dead that what else is there going to be to bet on? And people are going to start asking questions, and people still got a lot of money to spend.
Let me ask you this, Nate. If there are people who do bet on them, not necessarily knowing what it's about, they just think, all right, this looks interesting. Let me give it a try. This Cloud9 this season looks like a sure thing. Do you think they watch the matches that they bet on?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then that right there is not for all, but for some is then going to be a gateway into doing it more often as they become more familiar with it.
No,
this could actually be more of a boon for esports than anything else.
No, I agree that there is an opportunity here. And I do think that the opportunity is in esports, capital
Favor.
E, capital S, esports' favor, right? Because there are a lot of websites, there are a lot of entities out there that are trying to make esports betting a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about does esports benefit from this. I think more eyeballs and more attention in any way, shape, or form on esports, positive thing. That's in the up
Net
column.
positive.
Right.
Can I say that
I think the fundamental question that we're asking is whether or not an entire industry gets born out of this opportunity. That I don't know.
I think this is nothing. It may be short term because of the whole thing with the whole sports things not being able to be played, but I think this is Vegas's very, very long term 10-year plan to future proof themselves. They already see the decline of millennials and probably Gen Zers when they're old enough to start betting, like not going to casinos as often, and this is a nice little potential future proofing that they're doing. This is how I see it, at least.
I mean, listen, the sports book could be the esports book can start to get really weird, and I mean on a bunch of stuff. I mean, people are going to be like, oh man, what's the over under on Alinity throwing her cat against a wall in her next stream? Like,
please, I hope that's low, please.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, that's how granular and weird that this stuff can get. And I think like when you talk about esports book, I think it's easier for Vegas to begin to flesh this out right now than it is going to be for them to try to do it in the middle of an NBA or an NFL season, because that's where the attention is going to be.
Yeah.
But if you do it now when there's no sports going on, where esports is about to pretty much I don't want to say dominate, but push forward
it's
a lot of
fill
content.
the gap.
It's going to fill a little bit of a gap. You're going to have people who want to bet. There's always people looking for a come up. And these are not necessarily gambling addicts or, gamblers, by trade. These are people who are just looking for a come up. And they're going to be people who also know esports. So we know that a lot of esports demographics in terms of viewership skews a little bit older than the people who actually are playing the games mostly. So knowing that, if they're older, they got a little bit more disposable income. Who's to say, oh man, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't spend $50 on dinner going out to dinner because I've been on lockdown. Let me open the app and make a bet on the next, TSM and 100 Thieves match in the LCS and see if I can make a couple extra bones. That's how it starts. It's not going to be the big, huge bets. It's going to be a bunch of people making really, really little, small $50, $60, $70.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be right, but again, one of the big features of a sports book is usually, unless it's facilitated by an app, having to be within physical proximity to that sports book in order to make that bet. And I think that, one of the other things that we've seen is that millennials and Gen Z are just not found at casinos.
Yeah, this would be a bigger thing if millennials and Gen Z were already going to casinos, but we're not. I'm in the rarity of people who like to go to casinos who are my age. This does, esports betting does have the potential to be a major source of betting in the younger demographic, but not until they can do it from their phones. And really, truly, I don't want us to be able to gamble from our phones. I don't.
But it's gonna happen.
I know it's going to, but I don't want it to.
Conclusion.
Yeah, but I mean, but look at the glut of gambling addicts when video poker became a thing. Like, we saw a big spike in people who got really super into things like video poker, and I think that there is a fundamental sort of desire that doesn't exist in our generation and younger folks to want to to be separated from our cash that easy, to want to go into a casino. And most of our the what you could term gambling that happens in our generation happens inside of a video game. And so, could we see a point where, betting could come into the code of a game, and instead of doing it from your phone, you're doing it from the main menu of whatever game you're playing?
More so than just loot boxes, you mean?
That's to me, that's truly transformative for gambling for, people in our age bracket.
No, you absolutely could. And here's the thing that I sort of disagree with you on is that, yes, you're absolutely right that millennials and Gen Z to a large degree, where they're spending this type of money is in the video games, buying loot boxes, buying skins, stuff like that. But at the same time, you have people who are taking real money and turning it into digital money to then go to a digital casino in a game like GTA, as Mace Mall in the chat just put in, to spend there to win digital goods.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sort of feedback loop of gambling already exists in this generation.
Is that gambling, or is that paying
absolutely
to
is gambling. Absolutely is gambling.
Is it paying to access content?
Is gambling. Because you're not guaranteed that.
You're not guaranteed it. I mean, there's a little bit mixed, but I just had a random thought with Twitch. Do you think, I know this is kind of a separate entity altogether, but do you think that there'll be a point where, say, I'm watching two big streamers and they're playing Fortnite or whatever, and I can vote via Twitch, or not vote, gamble via Twitch who would win the match or whatever like that? That's the next step beyond this.
See, I'm
wondering about.
I see that being a lot more compelling and effective.
Is this the gateway, though? That's my question.
Than needing it to be facilitated by a sports book, right?
But
right.
If that's a plugin. Who's to say MGM wouldn't have somebody create the software to create that plugin?
Oh, I mean, Twitch. If anyone could do it, Twitch could do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Amazon has those programmers in house that can figure that out.
Programmers in house, but what I'm saying is that there's a way for the casinos to be able to help facilitate and integrate all this stuff into what people are already using, whether it be Twitch or the video games or Mixer or whatever.
But is there a way for casinos to do that without you having to go to that casino?
Absolutely. MGM already has an app.
I would, well, even if it's just the app, but if you kind of make it so that at least there's a live event behind some of these things, then you I know it's still somewhat of an enticement, but you can kind of make it to where it's like, oh, come see it live, and you have better chances compared to online. Maybe it's like kind of like the esports arena where you go in and then they're live and you can place higher bets, but there's a cap on online bets. I'm just making shit up, but at this point, I don't know.
No, but it probably will be something. And the thing that I think, Nate, and to your point, I completely understand what you're saying, is the delivery method that millennials will have the biggest issue with. They're not gonna get up and physically go to a casino to place a esports bet. But I think my larger point is that esports betting, if it is allowed in mass across the board, there will be full integration for stuff. I mean, if you look at Europe when it comes to soccer, they already have like 365 bet and DAFA bet and a bunch of other websites that you could bet on anything, and it's just part of the culture. And so if that is allowed in mass, there's gonna be integration for this. There's gonna be some games that come out with the specific idea to be bet on.
But that's the thing, is that that's not allowed, right? Like, we have local gaming laws and gambling laws that are remarkably strict. Like, for example, I don't know that I could download the MGM app right now and place a bet on ESL matches. Maybe I could. I don't know.
It could be geo-logged.
Yeah. And the thing is, do I need to be in Nevada? Do I need to be in Vegas? Like, how does all those things work? And until the point where I can be anywhere in the world and, see, oh, those are the matches that are coming up. Those are the, that's the over under. Okay, boom. And I hit it from my phone. I just don't know that that's going to be effective on a broad enough scale to make this make sense for forming a cottage industry.
I mean, that's just I feel you, but that's just a VPN, as people in the chat are saying. That's just a VPN. Hey, even though I'm in Michigan, I put my VPN to put me in Vegas. All right, bet.
Then you're breaking the law to be able to do that. Like, you're spoofing your IP to show that you're in Nevada. Like, that's,
I don't know. I imagine that's already happening.
Now the onus is on you. Now, like, now if anyone's going to get in trouble, it's you.
Yeah, but you think people wouldn't do that? Because of course they would. Absolutely, they would.
I don't know. I'm not not downloading a VPN to place bets on esports.
I mean, I'm not either. But
I mean, there's probably there'd probably be strict rules behind it where you'd have to, like, maybe show an IP address or something like that. I don't know.
You have to go physically to the fucking resort to pick up your winnings.
Or if they're like, I mean, I joked in our chat earlier that maybe not joked. I was kind of serious that, like, GameStop could be like a spot where you could sign up or at least register or something like that. They might have to do something like that where there's designated places you go to where you can make these bets in person, where it's widely spread. Walmart or something, like, kind of how they're doing the esports arena.
Right. So Chile in the chat saying, I'm not a gambling addict though, Nate. But that's my point though. You have to get people like me who are not a gambling addict to have interest in your service to make this successful enough.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. There's enough.
You have to get enough average people under your service. You can't just corner gambling addicts. Now your service is a fucking pariah. Now you're getting into moral issues. But I don't think that it's sustainable to only target gambling addicts. Nor do I think that would be it would create a positive environment or a environment that encourages growth further down the line for esports.
Well, who would you consider a gambling addict though? Because there are people who will go to the casino on the weekends, socially, have some cigarettes, play the slot machines, drink, hang out. That's their social time. They hang out there at the casino, and that's what they do.
Spending $20 max. Yeah.
Would you consider those people gambling addicts?
Seriously? Probably not.
Okay, but if those are people spending money in casinos, doing the things that people in casinos.
Yeah, they're going to go to the slots.
Right?
They're going to go play cards. They're not going to place bets on two teams they know jack shit about. The psychology doesn't work for that.
I just think like it brings back to, I think this is a long-term play where like when Overwatch is on the TV, like on like ABC 7 or whatever channel you're watching it, when it's on that channel every week, then you'll get to the point where it gets like that though. I agree. I think
I got an example, and Robbie was here when this happened. We were in Boston doing an event with the Boston Uprising during the opening season. And we were out there and we did an event. We had a guy and his kid who came over, talked to us about the show. And we had a really great 30 minute conversation really with this kid about video games and with his dad who knew a little bit about video games.
He knew that his kids liked it. That's it.
Knew that his kids liked it, but wasn't a gamer, right? His kid walked away for a hot second. He immediately pulled out his phone and looked at me and said, "Hey, a buddy of mine at work put me up on this app, and this esports thing is getting really big. And he said that you could bet on esports matches, whether it be Dota 2 or whatever." He was like, "Who would you put your money on?" And he pulled it up. And in this app, it had everything, all the Dota 2 matches, all the LCS matches that were going on. That guy, he's like, I'm not a gambler. I don't go to the casinos, but this makes it easy for me. So you're already talking about a cohort of people who are not necessarily into these games and aren't necessarily gamblers, but the technology can make it easy. Flat out. The technology can make it easy for them. So
yeah, but those are the people that as soon as sports come back, they're right back to sports.
Sports was still going on when he did this. It was another interest. It's not like he was choosing this over sports. This was something new that intrigued him. It's not a and or.
Well, I just don't see esports betting getting enough traditional esports fans and sports betting enthusiasts into that pool enough to make it viable.
I don't know. With the whole NASCAR, the eNASCAR thing that happened, and I know it's because there's no NASCAR happening right now, but with the whole eNASCAR thing, it kind of changes my mind. I'd be inclined to agree with you if it didn't quickly escalate to immediately let's watch eNASCAR on TV instead of NASCAR. It makes me think that there's hope for like people that it's just going to be they're going to be intrigued by it. They're going to be like, this is new, or I need to get in this because it's hot right now.
Exactly. I need to get in it because it's hot and new, and the technology makes it easy for me. And these people are not necessarily gambling addicts, just people who like to place a bet every now and then on a team or whatever. But there's going to be the logic of, if I could be the first person to get into it out of my crew, or I could be the first person in my town, or, one of the first few people in the city that latch on to this, I could be the guy making a ton of money. I could be the guy that is the guy. And that drive, I think, goes to anything. It goes to anything, not just gambling. It goes to anything. So I think, while I see your point, I think starting out, they're not going to be looking for large numbers. They're not going to be looking for en masse. They're going to be looking for whales. They're going to be looking for people with a lot of disposable income.
And if mobile gaming has taught us anything, a few whales absolutely can, in the beginning, carry stuff.
That's true. That's true. But I don't see the same motivating factors for somebody being a whale in a video game as I do for gambling.
That's also fair, because when you spend
those are two
thousands in a game, you still have something to show for it.
Yeah, even though it's a
sports book, you got money.
Even though it's a digital item, I think that for some reason, I think that has more psychological pull than winning a pool of money.
Whales are never going to feel like they lost paying for stuff in a mobile game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we start to see generational differences between the way that our generation interacts with gambling and the way that older generations have flocked to casinos. And it's really in that psychological difference where I think all of the difference is made up. I think that that's going to be the real challenge for these casinos and for places that are trying to make esports betting a thing, is okay, how do I motivate people on that? How do I motivate young people on that level to participate in this?
I need to hear from Callie, because out of all of us, she's the only one that actually gambles and tried to teach me craps.
I tend to agree with Nate. I don't think that this is going to have a major impact yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the first step of having a major impact. It's just 5 years out still, probably 10 years out still. But I believe within 5 to 10 years, it will absolutely have the impact that they're looking for, just not yet. And I don't mean to change the subject, but my local bagpiper has apparently decided that the neighborhood is in desperate need of some entertainment because he just started
Can you get video of it? Can you find video of that later, please?
I'll try to. He's usually three houses down, and they have a privacy fence now. But I'll see if I can get a video of it.
That's so funny.
They have a privacy fence now because all of the rotten garbage that would be thrown at him when he would practice.
Correct.
I've never seen a real bagpiper. I'm kind of excited. Like I've seen it on videos, but like not in person.
Go to the Ren Fair, you weirdo.
It just looks so crazy. I've never seen it.
Have you never met a Scottish person? Like
my family's Scottish, but like we're so mudded down that it's hard to like nail down any traditional anything in my family.
Dude, I lived in college. There was a bagpiper who lived in my dorm, in not like in my room, but like just in the building. But he would go into the stairwells to practice, as if that made it better somehow.
No.
It's the echoes and stuff. I don't know.
And you can hear it in every apartment. Like Nate,
you could hear it across campus. Like
Yeah.
you could hear it clear on literally the other side of campus.
that's horrific. No, this guy is like, everyone's already real short on patience. This guy is asking for it. This is not good.
So, but Callie, I've got a question though to that. Is he any good?
Yeah, actually, he's really good.
Oh,
Like,
okay. All right. There is nothing worse than someone playing the bagpipes that has no idea what the hell they're doing.
I'm almost certain that he does perform at Renaissance Fair, because especially around that time of year, he practices a lot.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure he plays at Renaissance Fair. He's really, really good at least. But I mean, as good as you can be on the bagpipes.
I was just going to say, I mean, even good bagpipes, you can only listen to them so long.
I was about to say, it's not like he's in the back playing bass guitar or something like that. Something cool.
Right.
No, it's bagpipes, bro.
He's playing the bass bagpipes.
I hope he's practicing with like the burning bagpipes, the ones that shoot flames out of them. That'd be awesome.
You don't practice with those, do you? You save that for the show.
No, you have to. Well, listen, you have to practice with those.
Unless you want to make the evening news, you practice.
Yeah. I'm about to say I wouldn't start off just regular. Then you know what? My first time doing this, I'm going to do it in front of a crowd of people.
I mean, I don't know, if you want to get your name out there, you do.
Yeah,
real quick.
This is my first time doing that, everybody.
That's so stupid.
Hey, man, listen, you're going to be all over YouTube.
Yeah.
That's true. That's how you get famous. You're right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Checkpoint AFK. I want to thank everyone who joined us live over at twitch.tv/CheckpointXP. All 47 of you. Much appreciated. Make sure you check out our website, checkpointxp.com. Subscribe to Checkpoint AFK and all of our podcasts. We have a variety of really great shows. Checkpoint XP on campus, all of esports, the other identity. What am I missing here?
Like shows? What are we talking about?
Campus.
I did say on campus.
Other identity.
This was my first one.
AOE, Owl's Nest.
Owl's Nest. That was the other one. Make sure you subscribe to all of them, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe and listen every week. Be like our awesome Apple Podcast reviewer and listen to all of our podcasts. Go back through the huge backlog of like 2 years worth of content. There's tons of stuff to listen to. If you want to check it out, it's available all at our website, CheckpointXP.com. Thanks so much for joining us for Checkpoint AFK. CheckpointXP.com is where you can find out more info about the show, interviews, past episodes, and a whole bunch more. That's all over at CheckpointXP.com. Stay up to date on all the latest by following us on social media, CheckpointXP on Facebook and Twitter, and Checkpoint_XP on Instagram. And if you like the show, consider dropping by our Apple Podcast feed and giving us a rating and review. Checkpoint XP is a production of Beasley Esports. For the Checkpoint XP crew, Robbie Landis, Norris Howard, Callie Sloan, Chad Callahan, my name's A. Bender. Keep listening.
I fight until it hurts.
This is a Gamer's Outreach Cart, or Go-Kart for short. It's a portable video game kiosk built specifically for hospitals. Created and assembled by Gamers Outreach, each unit helps provide recreation to kids and young adults unable to leave their bedsides. The carts can be disinfected easily and have 360 degrees of movement, making them ideal for transport in hospitals. Go-Karts can accommodate a variety of gaming consoles. They also come with wired controllers, a gaming monitor, and are equipped with a lift mechanism that allows the height to be adjusted. Go-Karts provide a safe, flexible, and efficient way to ensure patients have access to entertainment during long-term hospitalization. To learn more about Project Go-Kart, visit gamersoutreach.org.